You know, when you picture a TV studio, you probably think of giant mixing boards, flashing lights, maybe some big tape decks. Well, you can pretty much forget that old image. Today, the modern broadcast studio has gone through this absolutely radical transformation. We're going to go inside and see how they've basically, secretly, become high-tech data centers, running on the exact same principles as the cloud services you and I use every single day. And just so you know, this is part of a much bigger series. What we're diving into today is based on Chapter 29 of a 40-part deep dive on modern broadcast studios by Virtualization Options LLC. Our focus right now is squarely on this incredible convergence of broadcasting and straight-up IT. So, at first glance, yeah, this looks like a pretty familiar control room, right? You've got your monitors, your control surfaces, all the classic stuff. But underneath it all, the entire philosophy has changed. The way a signal gets from A to B isn't about physical wires anymore. Nope, it's all about servers, networks, and data packets. It's such a fundamental shift that it's turned broadcast engineers into a whole new breed of specialized IT managers. To really wrap our heads around this, we have to go right back to the beginning of the journey. The very first step, the moment a sound or an image is captured. In today's studios, this process is digital from the absolute get-go. Okay, think about audio for a second. It used to be this maze of cables. Every single microphone, every audio source needed its own dedicated shielded cable running all the way back to a giant patch bay. Now, it's a whole new world. We use something called audio over IP. A single standard network cable can carry hundreds of channels of perfectly clean, high-quality audio as data. This means the flexibility is just insane. You can send any audio source anywhere you want with just the click of a mouse. And you guessed it, the exact same revolution happened with video. We're long past the days of analog signals that would get noisy and degrade over long cable runs. Today's professional cameras, they're basically sophisticated computers. They can pump out a super high-quality, uncompressed digital signal called SDI for in-studio use, while at the very same time create a compressed IP stream that's ready to go out over a standard network. They are data creation machines from the word go. So if everything coming from the cameras and mics is now data, where does it all go? Well, this brings us to the very heart of the modern facility, that old, gigantic, inflexible, and ridiculously expensive piece of hardware called a router. It's been totally replaced by something you'd find in any big IT department. Now, the tech that makes all this possible is called SNMP SD-WAN, and this is really the secret sauce. Instead of bundling video, all the audio tracks, and the captions into one big signal, SD-WAN breaks them apart. They become separate, independent data streams. This is a total game changer. It means you can send the video to the control room, the English audio to one recording booth, the Spanish audio to another, and the closed captions to a totally different system, all flowing over the exact same network. And what you're looking at here, that is the new router. This server rack, packed with high-speed network switches, is way more flexible, way more powerful, and can be scaled up infinitely compared to the old hardware. But here's the flip side. It also means that broadcast engineers now have to be expert network architects, constantly managing things like bandwidth, latency, and all this complex multicast traffic. Okay, with all this data flying around the network, how does a station actually get a show on the air? I mean, how do you play the right commercial at exactly the right time? Well, that's where the brain of the whole operation comes in, broadcast automation. This automation software is like the conductor of an orchestra. First, it pulls in the entire day's schedule, every show, every ad, every graphic. Then, it meticulously checks its servers to make sure every single video file it needs is there and ready to go. Then, when it's showtime, it's sending out precise commands, telling video servers when to play, telling graphic systems when to show a title, and telling the network where to send all the signals. And the whole time, it's monitoring everything. If any piece of equipment fails, boom, it instantly and automatically switches to a backup. So the big takeaway here is that automation isn't just about efficiency or needing fewer people. It's really about rock-solid reliability. As this point from the source material makes clear, it guarantees that super complex sequences run perfectly every single time. And crucially, it creates these detailed logs of everything that airs, which is actually a legal requirement for broadcasters. Okay, so the show's been captured, it's been routed through the network, and automation has assembled everything. What are the final steps inside the studio before that signal gets sent out to the world? Well, this is where the sheer scale of the data becomes a massive challenge. Get a load of this number. A single, uncompressed 4K video signal requires a staggering 12 gigabits per second of bandwidth. Let me put that in perspective. That's more than 10 times faster than a typical high-speed home internet connection for just one stream of video. Handling that amount of data is just a monumental engineering problem. Obviously, you can't just send 12 gigabits per second over the air or to a streaming service. It would just break the internet. This is where the magic trick of compression comes in. Just look at this table. A smart codec like HEVC can take that monster 12 gigabits 4K signal and shrink it all the way down to a totally manageable 50 megabits per second. That's a reduction of over 99%, and it still looks amazing. This is literally what makes modern broadcasting and streaming possible. The final compressed show is now ready to leave the building. It gets sent over what's called a studio-to-transmitter link, or STL. This is the last mile, the final, absolutely critical link in the chain. It could be a microwave dish on the roof, a dedicated fiber optic line, or, more and more, a secure connection over an IP network, carrying that finished product out to the transmitter site to finally go on the air. So when you put it all together, it's pretty clear. The modern broadcast studio has, for all intents and purposes, become a data center that just happens to create TV. This big merge brings incredible power and flexibility, for sure, but it also introduces a whole new rulebook and a whole new set of dangers. The skill set for a broadcast engineer today, it looks a whole lot like a senior IT administrator's resume. You have to be an expert in network infrastructure, server management, high-performance storage, virtualization, and the big one, cybersecurity. The old-school engineering skills are still important, but now they're built on top of this deep IT foundation. And of course, when you run like a data center, you face the exact same threats. Broadcasters are now a huge target for ransomware that could lock up their entire library of shows and commercials. Attackers could try to manipulate content. Imagine someone putting false information on the air. And you've got all the classics: denial of service attacks, data breaches, even insider threats. It's a whole new world of risk. Here's the thing you've got to remember. Every single piece of equipment that's connected to that network, from the camera in the studio to the graphics machine to the playout server, every single one is a potential door for an attacker to walk through. Securing this incredibly complex system while staying on the air 24/7 is one of the single biggest challenges the broadcast industry is facing right now. And that leaves us with a final and pretty provocative question to think about. For decades, the broadcast engineer's absolute worst nightmare was dead air, a signal failure. But now, as studios fully become data centers, has the biggest threat shifted? Is the thing that should keep broadcasters up at night no longer a faulty transmitter, but a sophisticated security breach?